but the fears of the enemy is not a huge factor for you actually, because like the enemy can glee and they think that they're winning because they have those traitors inside their camp and blah blah blah, and they can be overconfident and that will just hurt them in the long run. But when you lose the kind of tacit support or respect of
but who's more credible, me or BB, when we criticize Hamas or violent resistance or
I'm not after credibility.
The person who tells the truth or the person who spouts propaganda?
I'm not for credibility. I'm for being successful on the schoolyard.
It's not. You don't think it's successful? When I brought my Palestinian friend on and talked to other Palestinians, they agree with her that Hamas failed the people.
So what did it change?
Saying we want to bring moderate voices. This place is so polarized. It's good to have moderate voices to remind us that the vast majority of people are somewhere in the middle. This place is not reality. It's not real life.
We are in a place as a consensus for anything. This is not statistically valid. It represents a group of self-selected people who come onto the app. It doesn't represent a cross-section of anything. So,
but it doesn't. It's so polarized. Both sides are represented as these caricatures of themselves, and I don't think it's accurate of the human sample size. You know, a real.
Right. You just said before that there's a consensus that one was better than another. No, you can't draw a consensus from one person's opinion or even a couple people in Clubhouse's opinion. This is not statistically valid in any such.
And the truth is, Ellie, I would argue we're not trying to change. You agree that we're not really changing anyone's minds anyway.
Yes, you're doing like mental masturbation and.
For me, personally.
Yeah, no, for me as well. Like I'm guilty.
You're not expecting to change anyone's minds, right? So why am I a threat to the Jewish people, like these BB Kapar said?
Because it's very uncomfortable. People in your camp undermining your positions. It's very.
Don't you think it makes Jews look good that some of us are moderates and all of us are fucking right-wing lunatics?
No, because you're not convincing anyone that needs to be convinced.
I mean, I think it reflects that not all of us are fascistic, BB, Kahanist lunatics. I think it's healthy. It's healthy to represent the spectrum of opinion in our community.
None of those people are persuadable. Buttercup.
I'm not trying to convince. I'm just trying to represent a full cross-section of our community, not just the crazy radicals.
I mean, it doesn't help. It does make Jews look bad
to have moderates among us?
Yeah. You're not a moderate, Buttercup.
What am I, Jason?
You're a left-wing extremist.
Okay,
absolutely. You just don't want to hear the cold hard truth.
Okay. Thanks. Daniel, you want to speak? Do you have anything to say? Othello, what do you think? Am I a left-wing extremist?
You're asking somebody who hates Jews.
No, he doesn't.
I do think you throw around that word Kahanist a little bit too much.
I say it tongue-in-cheek, and I've said over and over again.
Because
I know that you and BB, we call almost started it. Almost says you guys are Kahanists, they're the lefties.
Oh, just because he started it doesn't mean you need to pile on.
Why? I think it's funny. It's funny on behalf.
It's a known fact that people like BB, Rabbi, Harry, make Jews look so bad. They've been doing it for the past 3, 4, 5 years, and they don't give a fuck, right? I think, Buttercup, when I see someone like you come on the app, I have hope for humanity, and I have hope because I know that there's a lot of Jews like you, like to treat Jews as a monolith. Like me. Yeah, like almost as well. You guys are a bridge to the rest of the world, so that we can have healthy dialogue and not push weird ass white supremacist, right-wing Jewish supremacist ideologies. And I appreciate you, Butter.
Thank you.
Really, you said thank you. Maybe you want to address it, Buttercup. So you think that the Jews think differently than Buttercup and sometimes almost, what did you say? Supremacist, white, what can you say? This again?
White supremacist.
Jewish white supremacist.
This is why I say white supremacist, because you guys log rooms and support people like Pepe, who say the N-word.
You lie.
Pepe is the catch-all. Catch-all for everything.
Rabbi's rooms, right?
Oh.
The N-word
This is a Clubhouse live stream.
Rabbi.
Which rabbi?
This is
There's
put on
so
by
many
a young
rabbis
girl
in there.
named Buttercup. She's a journalist and an extreme left-wing
Oh, he's
liberal
not Jewish.
lunatic.
He's an anti-Semite. No, Count Shekels is an anti-Semitic trope. He's not Jewish.
He's a Jew hater that is basically cosplaying as Jew.
Jews don't say Count Shekels. It's an anti-Semitic stereotype.
Jews hate about Jews, and you fell for it. Your claim that that we are nationalists, like the white supremacists, is because of the Pepe and another.
You guys do flirt with them. You flirt with it.
No, guys,
Daniel, the room does like to flirt with white supremacists.
And Buttercup flew right over her head. She was like, I'm fine with like, I'm
Yeah, you guys gotta hear this. They're talking about you guys. This is hilarious.
Like the rest of the 99% like white supremacists, whatever you call it, that's fine. For me, it seems that the so-called information is one curator and Pepe. None of them are Jewish.
No, Daniel, it is a problem that your room flirts with Jew haters.
You're flirting with terrorists.
No, I'm not. No one's a terrorist on this app. They're all American. Who was a terrorist? What are you talking about?
And we're flirting with who?
So the people that you champion, not you personally, but people in your room lionize and your country. Your country lionizes people like Charlie Kirk, who I believe is a white supremacist.
Yeah, Issa.
So you people is who exactly?
Issa, Mr. You know when you're in this room with Issa and Mr. and you guys are just calling each other.
Who's Mr.?
Yeah, you know who Mr. is.
I don't know who that is.
You know Mr. Anderson?
Yes, yes.
He's literally like he would support Hitler. He would take a gun and shoot himself.
Okay, and you
Those are your examples of why you hate Jews because of Jew haters. Dude, wow, man, listen, I have nothing here. I have nothing.
We're not argument on stupid, but I just want you to make commercial.
He's talking a commercial break every 10 minutes, almost.
Yeah, exactly. Every 10 minutes you have to stop and, it's argument between a fellow and
Alright, this has been No One Cares. Q, Frank, I'm gonna credit everyone.
days from now. They like to talk, they talk.
Everyone, go to Amos's room. He's waiting for you with tea and coffee.
And there is a cake, don't forget. Cake also.
Uga.
And I hope you are the first my guest in my room. I hope.
Keep doing your thing, Buttercup. Don't let these guys gaslight you. Keep doing your
Listen,
thing.
Daniel, I like talking to you because you're reasonable, but like a lot of the folks you share a room with, they are a little like fanatical and blind and reflexively just Israel. They fetishize Israel like and it doesn't. No one finds it convincing. It's not coherent. It doesn't make sense. You're a rational person. Doesn't it bother you that they do this?
No, it bothers me that you are taking one or two people and you're trying to use this as a wide brush. Doesn't matter. And and when I would say this, if I would say the same thing, I say, okay, so if you are with basically hanging out and chilling with people that would basically slaughter your family and are supporting Hamas, literally, not just like by innuendos, like supporting and resistance.
Oh my God, look who it is, Donald. You're still alive. There must be a God. Praise God, you're alive, Donald. Praise God, you're alive, Donald. I thought fentanyl got you, brother.
Yeah, but I can
I thought fentanyl got you, Donald.
when they say things
Praise
like
God, there must be a God if you're still alive, Donald. Oh, we're so lucky you're with us. God must be real. Donald, there must be a God. You're proof, Donald. You're proof. Living proof. Donald, that there is a God. Praise the great and glorious God. For Donald's still alive. I thought you were dead, Donald. I thought you weren't with us anymore, brother. But praise God, it's another miracle. From Charlie Kirk's assassination and his ashes rises Donald. Donald, you're alive! You're alive, dear Donald, my friend. You are alive, Donald. You're alive! Okay, Donald, I am complete. Thank you, Donald.
And tell me, give me one name of one space that I created that you have a about their room, not mine. This is a room that you are creating.
It doesn't matter.
Can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak?
I just joined the house, Donald. Thank you so much for creating this room. I'd like to try to convince you that God exists, if I may have a couple of 60 seconds on your time.
Give me a screenshot from this room. Give me a screenshot from this room. Go.
Alright, Othello, in fairness.
Wanna bet? Wanna bet? Wanna bet? This is a concept of pixels.
Okay, just listen. This is another clubhouse room. Ocean is a homosexual bookseller, and I'm talking about how he wants to get his ass
I
around.
would never mod with this fucking Mr. Robinson. He's a vermin, okay? So don't give me this shit.
So he disavowed his views, Othello. Let's move on from this, okay?
Okay.
I know this about like I don't he's not even a human like I don't know what to talk about him, but you painting a brush on me because of people that are in a room with it's disgusting. It's basically your
I have to say, Othello, I've
if you
not
have a
done
problem with people, if you have a big problem with people, take it with them. But to exploit them in order to spread hate about Jews, I had enough of it. And I'm here, and you keep on saying you guys.
This is my last statement.
So maybe don't make it.
I don't want to see you guys, the Jewish people on this app, mod rooms and celebrate people like that, right? Who said 2 days ago, who asked Buttercup if she was hot enough to be raped on October 7th.
So, you know what? I would ask you guys, because I see a lot of
Oh,
black rooms,
God.
I would ask you guys to stop creating rooms against Jews. And I hear a lot of like you guys, and I would actually, I don't know if you're an Islamist or Muslim, I would ask you guys to also stop having rooms constantly all over Clubhouse, like spam about Jews. Just, do a routine of like searching for the Israeli flag once in a while and see how many rooms are in Arabic obsessive about Israel, okay?
What do you think about this
The day
room?
that Charlie
About
Kirk died, the day
yeah,
that Charlie Kirk died, there were like 4 rooms at the same time saying Israel did it or Jews did it. At the same time.
I don't do
And also, you guys need to stop this before you come to us and say anything. So we can both blame you guys. We can both blame you guys.
Now listen, I don't join any rooms about Jews. I join rooms about specific people in certain
Give me a second, I'm bringing you up because I want a different voice, but don't yell, okay?
From the river to the sea.
I said don't yell, talk quietly. You want to say something?
Why'd you get rid of the other guy?
I didn't get rid of anyone. He got rid of himself. Mixa, do you want to say
Thank
something?
goodness.
I don't think that you're taking like a particularly well thought out position. So much as you're taking a position you feel provokes a different type of dialogue.
Okay. And do you think that's a net gain or net loss for the image of Jews in Israel in general?
Well, there's like a funny kind of a sports non sequitur that you can throw into anything, which is basically, well, let's see if it works out for him, right? I don't know. Maybe your approach is good for the Jewish people. My general sense is no. Most Jews seem to agree with me, but like, I don't know. Let's see if it works out. Mostly, like, my criticism of you is not your technique, your approach, your kind of emotional way to play into the discussion. It's more.
I actually don't have an agenda, by the way. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just here to block.
I disagree, and it's really suspicious for anyone to claim they don't have an agenda. But regardless,
I don't believe I can change people's minds. I'm just here to blow steam and get some,
that's irrelevant. Your desire to change people's minds is irrelevant. What I'm saying is, my disdain for your position has nothing to do with the way you're feeling out, the way you want to talk. My problem is that it's stupid and dangerous, and that's how people seem to be reacting to it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
The roast on Buttercup.
Daniel, do you find sort of this, I don't know if you hear this, I think there's a difference between the way Israelis talk about defend Israel and the way Americans defend Israel. Don't you think there's something a little crude and imbecilic about the way these sort of pro-Israel, rah cheerleaders from America, the way we speak about Israel is
Okay,
like,
this is the roast of
best things since
Buttercup.
sliced bread.
We'll mix that so very delicately told her that she's
they're
stupid and
dangerous.
dangerous.
And they're not
Oh
realistic.
my God, this is the roast of Buttercup. This is a Buttercup struggle session therapy room. Thanks for being here and good Shabbos.
I don't think you can confuse me. I have been on the app and I've spoke to many Jewish Americans that are actually for Israel. Never, ever, to be honest, and I'm completely honest, never have I heard anyone, not on the app, but also like on Twitter or like on social media, Israel can do no wrong. Never heard it. I'm completely honest. I heard you say it a few times actually.
I always heard you being like, even the dogs in Israel are amazing. The service is perfect. The trees are greener. You never hear me go wax poetic on
Buttercup is
Israel.
exaggerating.
Literally,
Has said
I
something along the lines of what Buttercup said earlier, that Israel is the most moral army in the world. Never has an army had fewer casualties in XYZ situation. Some of these things are demonstratively untrue, and some of them are, the most moral army in the world. Okay, is it demonstratively untrue? No, but it's not demonstratively true. It's kind of an exaggeration. And Buttercup, I do want to say though, Buttercup is right. Buttercup is right. This rings hollow to a lot of people, and it's not a good form of advocacy.
And also, I want to say this, Norm did say, one second.
I'm in the middle of answering your question.
Let me finish. Norm did say he went into a shelter and none of the dogs barked, because even the dogs in Israel are amazing and so polite and perfect. He did say that, I swear.
Okay, so talking about putting the Israel the most idea of the most moral army in the world, or talking about the casualty numbers, is not the same as Israel is doing no wrong. With one I can actually debate, and with the other I cannot, or I cannot defend it. That's what I don't agree with. But with the one we can I don't compare it to like to big dogs, like in the living dogs in New York. Actually, no, like in the streets, like at home, yes.
When it's bombing, do the dogs bark? Do they get stressed out like every other dog? Or are they special?
They don't get, it's not like every time they see how the family behaves and they see that everything is in order. It's like, when we in the ring, that the family goes to this room, so no, they're not panicked because I guess it depends on the family, if the family is starting to shout, and I don't think it's happening anymore because it's, it kind of became, Pavlovic response. I sounded it though, but this is exactly what a siren is, so, yes, but I don't think it's because you gotta look into it. You could understand things, and also we talk about the moral army in the world. We can just talk about it, but just like to dismiss it is basically like what you are basically blaming him. You're basically blaming for him even saying it is so ridiculous, and you're just dismissing it. I could see as just as ridiculous. Yes, and this you can have a conversation. But in any case, none of them, you just mentioned no, but she actually said that Jews are having this idea or this emotion or this notion or this, they say that Israel cannot go wrong. And this sentiment, I did not personally feel with all my discussion with many American Jews. This is my point, that's it. So if she exaggerated, I think that
This is what I hear, and you hear something else, so we have a very different takeaway from these rooms.
Yes, but what you hear is not what they're saying. And when you present to me, you want to have a debate.
I present an internal dialogue that's happening in the Jewish community,
So
and they
in
call
my
me a combo.
world,
That's running down.
in my world, I'm not having a discussion about your world, okay? If you're saying that this is
I go
what
to your
they said,
rooms. I go into your rooms and I present normal things that happen in the Jewish discourse, and they call me a combo.
He literally said it. He literally said it. And Buttercup is
Israel cannot, no, but you said he didn't say it.
He said Israel has the most moral army in the world, okay? And this is the kind of thing, Buttercup is not dismissing it. She's saying it's
no wrong.
Well,
And
I'm
then
talking
you're answering
about
with me
okay,
about
this is
what we talk
America's
about.
rules.
But this is a different argument.
And I'm saying it brings home.
Man,
It's bad.
Jason, can you wait? I cannot have two conversations at the same time. When I'm answering Buttercup, you are answering me about a different conversation. With Buttercup, the conversation is about Israel cannot do wrong. And you're answering me as if I'm answering to the most moral army in the world. You need to choose, like, what are we talking about? Her claim is not your claim. It's not the same conversation.
She made a range of
So
claims.
anyway, no, she didn't say any of it.
Alright,
She
let's get
said
substance. Move on.
it's really hard because
You feel so you're good at multitasking. Try to talk to both of us.
come on. You asked
It's
a
not a
question.
chaotic room. There's like two people here. Just respond to me and that's okay. Start with me.
There was a question at the beginning and I already forgot it. Like, you know,
He's
So
like,
is whether or not Israel can do no wrong, or whether or not Israel.
No. I think what I said, I'll repeat it. I think
this I remember.
in your rooms, I try to present arguments. No, in the rooms, in the rooms
This is
that
my room right now.
no, and you, I associate you with Bibi Kapara and Harry and Norm and all those
Okay,
folks.
in our world, I understand. I always need to understand it. We're not talking about reality.
Right now we're talking about Clubhouse and the effective dialogue, right? Where I walk into the Bibi Kapara houses, which you're obviously in this corner most of the time, pretty much all the time.
I need to stop you, okay? There's one Jewish room usually, okay? We used to have a back then, it was with the mayor at Make It Well It's Great Again, it's no longer there. There was the times that there was like a Jeff, like it's not like you were there, okay? This is what we have, okay? This is what we have, one. And you see also the many times when you open a room, a lot of people shift to you. They're not like, we're not like, it's like it's Clubhouse, it's not like in many rooms, like two rooms, maybe one. Come on, stop making a big story of nothing.
The Jewish room is clothing optional copy.
Say, Danielle.
That's what the Jewish room is, clothing optional copy.
Okay.
This is not one, this is more like a casual, like a more friendly. This is more like friendly group, okay? So people, they are friends, they're hanging out as friends. Yes, this is clothing optional.
Not just.
Danielle,
I'm just in all your lives already. Jews. God, you guys, it's like Nuremberg trials up here.
listen, Danielle.
Following orders is no
Exaggerating in order to make like weird claims.
No, Danielle. I came on here to have a dialogue with my people. Okay. I know you think I'm interested in just engaging within your room. I came here specifically because I want to talk to my people. I don't get to talk to a lot of Jews about this. It's not a topic I can talk about in polite company where I live, so I really enjoy it, and that's why I talk to you guys. But I get so much abuse there that I don't get in the other room. And I'm not saying that you represent all their views, but I'm just saying.
But you know that you're.
But all I'm doing is representing the views that you know Israelis have too. You know? I'm not extreme.
Listen, but you are on an audio app, okay? And people are using their voice, and you know that you say things in order sometimes to provoke. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you do get the attention, okay? You came to Clubhouse like a month ago. You're getting attention. You're opening room. You have confidence. Like, and yes, and you're the victim. But yes, the victim is the crowd. Then you see, I don't know how many people are here right now. I mean, come on. How much is this? Like,
You want to talk to your Devin in the chat says he wants to be brought up, and he's kind of implying that you don't bring him up. So
Because he's annoying, but I'll bring him up if you're really
he's
needy.
annoying. Like,
He's a little annoying.
Devin, no, he's not.
Alright, Devin, you want to come up? Where's Devin? Alright, come on up, but just make your points.
and just I'm muting with my headphone because every time something is in the app, every time that I mute on the app, it kind of silence it for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
You know when she say like how it is in her mind? So in my mind, she's using the David shield.
There's one of me going around with Hitler. I'd rather Danielle's than the Hitler one.
It's more like a representation. It's more like a little caricature to represent like a story.
How I see myself.
Oh, I mean, that would make for a really great story. Like if you imagined a tiny little cartoon girl in Israel. No. Slow down. Let me unpack it.
So I can't tell if I'm leading an army of Hamasniks or if I'm fighting an army of Hamasniks.
You're leading them. You're obviously leading them. They're in front of you.
No. She's not leading them. This is a shield.
Yeah.
She's defending them.
She's defending them, exactly.
She's defending the Jewish people.
She's using the. Oh, come on.
This is high art, Daniel. It's high art.
She's using Judaism as a shield. Okay, she's putting herself as a shield.
Okay, fine.
PGR is Buttercup defending Hamas. Is this real, dude?
Yeah, she's defending Hamas.
She's a lover. She's a lover of the fighter.
She's a defender. She's a defender of the.
There's like a sea now of parodies. I gotta say, like imitation's the best form of flattery. So
And you're average, right? Exactly. This is
Like, it's very bad. I'm becoming a narcissist because of you guys.
Press is better than no press.
Well, yeah, you're not handling the technology of the app very well.
part of it is that you didn't use like your own face, so it made it kind of more like I wouldn't do it probably if it was your face, like your real face. But
No, I don't mind it. I think it's cute.
you building a
I think yours is my favorite, Danielle. Yours is my favorite.
Daniel, that's a
No,
very cool. I didn't know you.
come on, I did the other like no, that's not AI.
No, I don't know you. I'm an artist.
AI.
But that's
But you know, just so you know, like
air right in the band. Like,
I'm just gonna tell you like a hack, okay? Okay. You're not telling to put like a Hamas headband, okay?
right.
I have to tell him a story that she's defending them and they're wearing a green headband and like the color of her eyes and to put like a bit like of white Arabic gibberish on them.
You did got him. I didn't even trick the guy that way.
PR? Did you upload a PR? Like, how did you get that face?
I'll tell you, the effort you put into that generation of humans really shines through.
Exactly. Yeah, you see my reference.
I'm gonna try to do it because I asked ChatGPT to generate an image of Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls with the star of David Shield with the IDF behind him.
Right,
He
nice.
said I can't help doing that.
No, he would have to have a sword. He'd have to have a sword to complete the narrative.
I'm gonna try to create a narrative and get that image.
Yeah.
She's a
Like,
superhero.
he can throw like a Jewish star, like a.
Too old.
A 6-pointed star.
Exactly.
No, because I it wasn't like anything bad. She's like she's defending them. She's a superhero. She has a shield, you know.
This narrative totally works, and it'll explain the whole conflict.
Okay, I want to hear from Beatrice because Beatrice is from Amir's room. I know her from there.
What about Devin? You brought him up first.
I know. I'll hear from Devin after, but Beatrice
And the other is
is
working on the project.
I'm gonna just
I
Beatrice.
actually-
Because
I
the premise here is that me having this like nuanced view where I'm critical of Israel, but I also have deep affection for my Jewish people. They're saying it's bad for the overall. It's worse for the Jewish people than what the propagandists in Bibi Kapara's room do, where they just lie and deny and sugarcoat and fetishize Israel all day. So I'm curious, as an outsider who spends all the time in Amir's room, do you feel like what I'm doing is how does it shape the way you see Jewish people, Israel, the Jewish state? Beatrix, I'm curious of your view.
So, I think you remember Buttercup. They were kind of like attacking you and calling you a Zionist, and I stood up for you and said, like, look, she might not understand certain things about Islam. But I don't get to really clarify my views a lot either. Like, the thing is, you don't even have to like Muslims, Buttercup. Like, you don't even have to really even like the Palestinians. You know,
I do. I have no problem with
I know. I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't. But I'm saying the way that they were kind of attacking you, because I told them, I was like, look, she was raised Jewish. She's not raised a Muslim. Why are you guys expecting her to know anything about Islam? When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about Islam. You know, like it's not really relevant to what we're talking about. And I know that you're older than me. You have a lot more experience than I do. You have a lot more knowledge than I do. You really don't need me to defend you. But the reason why I did is because, first off, you have a stronger voice than I do because you are Jewish And you can, because like, look, my parents are Zionists. My parents are never gonna listen to me because they don't see me as one of them. But the thing is, I don't want to see radicalism on either side. I don't like when people talk crap about Jews and say they're evil and they're this and they're that. And it's actually frustrating getting called anti-Semitic because I do like Jewish people and I don't want Jewish people to be attacked. I don't want anybody to go on a subway and attack a Jewish woman and her kids or a man, or, you know what I'm saying? I've never felt that way about Jewish people, and I don't want to see them attacked, and I don't want to see them ostracized. And so I don't want radicalism on either side. And I think that's something that's really important about you, because it almost seems like you get attacked from both sides, and it's kind of just like, well, you should be able to speak freely without being ostracized, because it's
Just for having a nuance view, yeah.
Yeah, it's way more dangerous, and it's not like we agree on
And
everything.
who's more credible? Like, who sounds more credible, me or Bibi Kapara, who's just like, wow, they invented cherry tomatoes and they have
I
the most
think
complicated world.
pushing this, the whole something criticism, and you're using the word nuance, which I find very interesting. Nuance is actually
Different point of view. It's not crap.
yeah, exactly. Not nuance also. Nuance is more like actually it's the opposite of nuance a bit.
I'm critical of Israeli leadership and Palestinian leadership. I think both of them failed their people. What do you mean? That's nuance. That's right in the middle.
I think that you are coming with a specific agenda that is not about.
I think both people deserve better leadership. How is that attacking anyone? I'm defending both people.
But it's not nuanced, okay? It's just your view. Alright? Nuanced is a word that should be, we should not be allowed to use the word nuanced. It should be illegal. No one
I think you are more credible because, given your position, you're not biased. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a bias. You're bringing into consideration perspectives from both sides, so you will always be more credible.
I'm also coming from a humanist perspective instead of a tribal perspective, which other people tend to come from.
That's why Malaka think that she has a superior point of view. You may mistake both sides. I don't know, she was a constitution.
For the people against governments, I think power needs to be put to account at any point.
This is not much different. None of this is not really differentiated for you from us, okay? I think actually we can even argue the opposite. This is not a thing. But we agree with you. I mean,
Daniel, you agree with me. That's not what Bibi Kapara thinks.
no,
You agree.
I never had this discussion about it. But also, how corrupt is also not a nuanced point of view. And I don't think it's such a unique. And also,
It shouldn't be.
You choose everyone of our attitudes.
children and like innocent civilians should die is also like not nuanced and
Thank you.
not so unique to you.
Same
Not so
here.
unique to you.
Thank you.
No, we all agree to
So we're
this.
calling you radical.
This is not your point of view. This is not exactly. This is not what differentiates
You're
you.
not presenting the things people consider radical about your views right now.
This is not what is radical.
And more importantly, I think everyone's opinion is unique. That's not why it's an opinion, it's not a fact. But
Mine isn't.
yeah, I know, exactly. But to say that it almost comes across as you're superior to Bibi. And the reality is that, no, you're
No,
not.
it's not. Yaakov, he claims I'm bad for, I'm a threat to the Jewish people and their
And
safety.
you're saying he's worse. Like, literally, you're
Right, so that's what the showdown was. It's worse.
So what if you guys are both wrong about that?
Amos
It's not
Shimali
that
thinks
big a
that
deal.
he's
I
worse.
agree, we're both wrong.
The BB is definitely.
I receive a lot more abuse than Bibi. I'm abused constantly on this app.
okay.
I'm threatened by one of my Israeli friends to dox me. They threaten to
Maybe they don't like you.
drown me.
Why don't you zoom out and think about Israel as part of a system, an American system of how the world works, and ask yourself what's good for America, Buttercup.
Right.
Ask yourself,
So it's
So, Jason, I assume you think that Israel's good for America overall.
Israel is good for America, yeah. And I hope someday Saudi Arabia and Egypt will be good for America too, and Qatar. Like with Israel's help.
So I think America has certain laws about how its bombs are used, and I think Israel has violated those standards over and over and over again. And we have an obligation to do something about it because that's what our laws dictate, right? We have to
Alright, so let's do that.
Who said there's a violation?
What does that have to do? Whoa, so what does that have to do with?
No, they use the usage of 3,000
Right,
pound
so
bombs in
what?
densely populated area is a violation of our
I
standards.
agree. No, wonderful. So what? Therefore what?
But you agreed, Jacob, so as Americans,
I'm agreeing with you, therefore
No,
what?
it's gross, the Leahy laws refer to gross violations of human rights.
dropping a 3,000 pound bomb in a densely populated area is a gross violation of human rights.
The maximum is.
There was no military justification for it.
How do you know?
Okay, wait.
How do you know?
3,000 pound bombs wipe out a whole block, a
Okay,
populated block.
wonderful.
Maybe that,
Hey,
maybe it was a military
They
necessity.
used a bomb and they broke a regulation. That's what you're saying? They used a bomb, we sold them,
They
and they didn't
constantly break
use.
regulations with our bombs.
Okay,
And that's
fine,
not
they
us.
constantly, that's wonderful. They
It's
constantly
my song
break
style.
regulations.
Of course I should care.
That feels like a problem that we Americans should leverage in diplomatic channels, no?
Yes. And we're trying.
So what does that have to do
But
with
whenever
whether or
it
not
happens, the Israelis
Whoa,
and
hey, slow down. What does that have to do with the question we were discussing? Is Israel good for America?
Israel's not good for America if it's
Why
using
not?
our bombs to commit war crimes.
Who cares? We'll just leverage that in diplomacy, as you just said.
Well, no.
You would prefer a greater Syria, perhaps? A larger Egypt, perhaps Jordan? Is that who we should interact with?
Buttercup, one thing they're asking you to do is consider the alternative. The alternative is that Israel, the choices are not Israel is perfectly nice or Israel does bad things. The alternatives include things like Israel loses and the other forces in that region are more powerful and they're worse for America than Israel, okay? But I also think that's a very big if. Israel is using American weaponry to commit war crimes. The standard that people use when they ascribe war crimes to Israel is very loose and imperfect. And there are a lot of details there. And I don't think what you've said,
Jason, you think
That
Israel
does
has
not
committed
add
no
up.
war crimes? Is that what you're
what
suggesting?
you've described in this case does not add up to a war crime. Okay, using
Okay.
a heavy bomb to destroy a building is not illegal.
No, numerous dumb bombs. which is
Using
3,000
numerous
pound
heavy
bombs.
bombs to destroy a building is not
They
illegal.
dropped more bombs than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's
Yes,
not as
but
small.
The Israelis.
On a densely populated area of mostly kids.
Hold on. There are real facts to talk about here. Buttercup, how many people died when that bomb was dropped?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It's like 100,000 people, okay? So this is kind of a clue that what Israel is doing is a lot more surgical and precise
Oh my
and
God.
measured than carpet bomb.
That was
See,
one
Okay, and then destroying city. Well, firebombings also
Okay,
killed hundreds
Jason.
of thousands of people.
Jason, it seems like you've been following the conflict a long time. As you know, whenever there's a war, Israel tends, as a matter of policy, they tend to react emotionally to every provocation, and it overreact. And so the only thing that restrains them at the end, the only thing that proves the war at the end, is pressure from Western powers, right? Historically, it's always been America that restrains Israel, and they say no more, and they say use restraint. Otherwise, Israel doesn't use restraint, right? And so really, without an American government that restrains Israel, things are going to be excessive. I think they're gonna provide huge liability for both America and for Israel, because we don't have the normal checks and balances, which is the U.S. in its ear saying time to use restraint, time to wrap things up, time to stop. And so this is the biggest danger for both our country and their country.
No, Buttercup. I would say that the biggest danger is America telling Israel to stop.
Israel has always told Israel to stop. Every war is stopped because America is in
needs to
its ear.
stop doing it. America needs to stop doing it.
America needs to use its leverage to control
No,
and out of
I'm going to
control.
explain why, Buttercup, and you need to listen to why. Okay? Because if you don't actually defeat the enemies, there is not peace.
The Israeli military establishment thinks the enemy's been defeated. They've accomplished everything they can accomplish, and they're just killing more of their own soldiers now.
It makes no sense for, ending or winning wars is not a decision.
Numerous top Israeli generals disagree with you, Jason.
It does not matter. That is not a decision that they get to make. Civilian authority should access to information and B, are trusted with the interests of civil society who are civilians, which the generals don't. And that's why we make this decision in times of war. And in times of war, yes, you have this great, I guess you could say, restriction or narrowing of people's freedom and autonomy or their ability to influence outcomes for the country. But that's true in every country, and it's because war is extremely dangerous. And what I disagree with you fundamentally about, Buttercup, is that the U.S. should not be telling Israel to knock off their war and not achieve total victory. And we have done it over and over again.
Total victory is a vague, not quantifiable goal, and the purpose of it is to be a foil for Netanyahu so that he can continue the war for his own political interests.
No, it is not. It is not.
That's what Israeli people think. It's not me, Jason. You should talk to some Israelis. That's what they're talking about.
I'm talking about something that
It's the removal of Hamas. That is not
Hamas is already
It's not removed.
It is very
Not
simple.
their still
They've offered to step down. That's the same thing.
It's very
They've already
simple.
offered to step down.
On their terms. On their terms.
Guys,
No, you're misrepresenting
You're allowed
the
It's called surrender, silly.
Your
Americans
charge
means the surrender.
about total
It's not
victory.
gonna happen the first day. You want to fuck around.
So this is what you say, total victory. It's so vague.
This is tequila.
No, it's not.
This is
It's not
tequila.
big. It's been
They
big.
have offered to step down, and yet Bibi Netanyahu uses this total victory phrase as a foil so that he doesn't have to end the
No,
war.
he doesn't. He's referencing just saying
The hard objective is to destroy Hamas and free the hostages. He's
He's
not either
referencing the
because
same
of his total
framework.
victory
He's
slogan.
referencing
He
the
uses
same
it as a
framework.
foil. Anything they offer is not total victory in his book. He finds a new goalpost.
Unconditional surrender is total victory, and they need to show up with all your weapons and say sorry.
Total surrender is a way to ensure the war continues forever. You said just like
No, it is not. It's not. Unconditional surrender means that Hamas has no conditions and surrenders.
That's not the war goal. That's not what
Just trying to accomplish the objective of Hamas.
He's talking about
return of the hostages.
He's talking about total
Yeah,
victory.
Jason says the unconditional surrender is not what the Israeli government
That's
is
what
saying.
total victory
That would be
is.
giving over your
Right,
weapons and
Jason,
dismantling
exactly. You're
Hamas.
asking for
Yes.
something unrealistic so the war never ends. Exactly what we're talking about.
Destroying, dismantling,
Buttercup,
removing Hamas.
guys, be quiet for a second. Buttercup, you keep calling it unrealistic, but it's not unrealistic. It is the realistic way to end conflicts of this nature.
Yeah.
And that's how they have ended. Stop for a second. That is how they have ended in the past. So why are you calling it unrealistic? It's how World War II ended. Both Germany and Japan unconditionally surrendered.
The map has never said that unconditional surrender is one of their requirements to end the war into hostage deal. This is something you made up, Jason. And when Netanyahu talks about total victory, that's not what he's talking about.
Guys, you guys are falling apart here.
Total victory is
You're
not
falling apart here. You're falling apart
It's
here.
an option. It's war. It's always we don't need to say it. Of course, it's an option. We don't need to
Jason says it's the only option.
If they
No, I did not say it's the only option.
today,
Okay, let's
to end it today,
walk
otherwise
back.
we continue to do it with the
I did
force.
not
He
say
says that's what total victory that
I did
Netanyahu
not
talks
say
about means.
I did not say it is the only
That's how
option.
you define
You
total
said-
victory.
Please stop. said total victory is vague. I said no, it's not. There is a clear story. Okay, unconditional surrender is total victory. Now the other
Daniel will tell you it's unrealistic. So if that's your goal, then you're trying to
That's the thing I'm asking you about. That's the thing I'm asking about.
But every
What
top
makes you
Israeli
say-
official and resident disagrees with you and thinks that's
What makes
unrealistic.
you
So when
think-
Netanyahu says that, he wants to extend the war.
Well, but you're not really
It's a
answering my
handy
question.
quote.
You're not really answering my question. What makes you think it is unrealistic?
Ask Daniel. Daniel will explain to you why.
No, I'm asking
not a
you,
realistic,
Buttercup. I'm asking you, Buttercup. Why? What makes
I'm
you
not
think it is
Israeli. Daniel's
unrealistic?
Israeli. He'll explain to you why that's a dumb
Well,
fucking thing.
Buttercup, but you told it to me. You said
Because I'm representing what Daniel said to me, okay? And he's Israeli and he knows what the discourse is. And you
so
clearly
someone
don't.
told you, someone you
It sounds like
trust
you don't follow
said,
discourse in Israel, honestly. So
someone
you
you
know how to talk.
someone you trust said that.
No, it's because I follow news in Israel in Hebrew, so I know what's happening. No one is demanding that except you, just Jason from Pennsylvania or wherever you're from.
You're saying it's
Jason from
unrealistic.
Pennsylvania is fucking irrelevant, okay?
I don't understand what is unrealistic about unconditional
That's
surrender.
never
total
been a
victory.
demand of the Israeli government, not once. And if you follow
What's unrealistic
discourse
about
in Israel,
total
you would
victory?
know that,
What's
Jason.
unreal? It has nothing to do with whether it's realistic or not.
No one's made that demand except for you.
You said it's unrealistic. That's why they
Israel
don't
has
have
put
it.
pressure on it, and that's how every war has ended, by the way.
Which the U.S. needs to stop doing. That's what we're disagreeing about.
Jason, you also completely misrepresented Netanyahu's position, so I don't think you can have an informed conversation
I
anymore,
don't
because you
think-
literally don't understand
Look,
what's at
you
stake.
are just trying to shut me
You
down
fundamentally don't
because I
understand what's at
disagree
stake.
with you. Because I disagree with you, all right?
Because you're uninformed. You don't follow the discourse.
I don't
Well, no,
think you're
Buttercup,
following
my
the
bigger
discourse
question
about
is-
war, Buttercup.
It
I
seems
I
like
think
you
you're
really
actually
follow
attending to how
the
war.
politics of Israel as it develops. But the question is, do you trust the Israeli democratic system to determine its own leaders and direction for its war from its civilian leaders?
Ask that again.
Do you trust Israel to follow through on their democratic constitutional plan?
Democratic, which one? Their goal is to.
The one that forms the Knesset.
Yeah, of course.
So, do you believe that they are having your thoughts expressed, to each other in the way that matters, and like their discourse is covering that?
Yes.
So then you would say it is important to preserve their ability to safely and freely discuss their views openly and express political views. The ones, and you express them in opposition to the state from outside of the state. When at the same time, you're obviously grateful for the state they have, which allows them to have their heated political discourse. Do you see my confusion?
You're talking about why the U.S. shouldn't pressure Israel one way or the other?
No.
Okay. So how am I controlling the discourse? I was spaced out for a bit. What?
Say that.
You want to repeat your question in a short version?
Right, that's a fair point. Shorter version of the question. It seems like you trust the Israeli democratic process, but at the same time encourage those that would remove that process.
Oh, you mean my idea for the binational state sometime in the future?
Sure, change the current political system and the current rights that the people have.
So I think a lot of Israelis, as you can see from the streets of Israel, don't think the current system is working from them, and they don't think it's sustainable.
Surely they can represent their own political views.
I know, and I allow them to, and I support them, and I think that's
What do you mean you
doing.
allow them to?
I think it's beautiful. I love to watch it. I love to see it.
There's something strangely patronizing about your approach to their
Well, we're all watching this show, this bad horror movie, and I like what's happening on the ground in Israel.
bad horror movie. Right?
It moves me as a Jewish American to see them advocating for their democracy and for the health of their democracy and their state. That is beautiful to me as someone who's covered politics for many years and has written about political corruption for many years. I think there's nothing more beautiful than someone coming puncturing political corruption in the way Haaretz does, and the way the protesters do, and the way human rights organizations do. I think that's moving. It moves me to tears. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what I love about Israel, okay? That they have a democracy. There is a fragile, but the democracy is still there, and the people there are speaking up. That's what's beautiful about Israel.
And you deem it as failing.
What? The state?
The democracy, yes.
The current structures in place are not serving the people well now. Because we have extreme political corruption on top, and we have a prime minister running a war that's deeply, deeply compromised from the far-right extremist factions of his government, because they extort him every time there's a chance to rescue the hostages, which defeats the morale of the Israeli people, the safety of the Israeli people, the confidence in their government. This is not serving Israeli democracy, and if you understood how governments work, you would get that.
I absolutely understand how governments work, but that's why I keep questioning. Surely you concede all of the angles you've looked at the conflict, the Israelis are looking at as well, correct?
100%. I'm representing discourse in the Israeli public.
Right, but shouldn't they be having that discourse amongst each other?
They're literally having it.
Why is that discourse relevant outside of Israel?
Why is anything? For Americans in particular, we supply bombs for this war, and so we are responsible for how they're used. And my tax dollars pay for those bombs, and I have a say. But number two, for me, as a Jewish person, as a Jewish American, which you are too, our identities. To be Jewish in America, our identities, like it or not, whether it's positive or negative, have over the years become enmeshed with the Israeli state's well-being and what the Israeli state stands for. So it's hard not to have an emotional response to what we see happening there. When our people die en masse, it affects us, right? We feel it, even if we're not there. Well, I do. I don't know about you. And so if I think the state is causing the mass death of my people, yeah, that's really emotional for me. And I also have family there, by the way. So my family is personally affected.
So if I could read...
Listen, my family lives in the South. If my sister's kids get kidnapped, now we have a government that will let them die, okay? This is not a country that I want my sister to live in. And she's stuck there. She's married to an Israeli. Her kids speak Hebrew. And this is the predicament she finds herself in. For her loyalty to the country, this is how they repay her. That if her kids get kidnapped, they say, let the hostages drop dead, we'll just bomb the negotiators. That's the country she lives in now. What does that do for the Israeli morale? What kind of democracy, what kind of Jewish refuge treats its citizens that way?
Okay, so if I understand, you have two basic reasons. One, more emotional, that you have a family there and you're concerned about the direction of the guidance of the state of Israel. And two, you're an American and your political power and voice is directed towards American action, which includes weapons which are utilized in Israel. So you're activating your political voice in parroting political discourse from the state of Israel, which is protected by its constitution and laws, correct? Sure. Just seems like you should primarily protect the constitution, nation, and laws more than anything. I would say.
Israel's my job to protect it. I just have strong opinions about the way Israel's handling this war, given that its leadership is deeply compromised.
As an American citizen who has concerns about the actions of Israel abroad, and as a Jew that lives in America, would you want to encourage, like, let's say you were in the CIA, right? Would you want a regime shift in Israel under your managing?
What's calling for an immediate listen, the Israeli people are fighting for new leadership. They're fighting for natural law.
Yes or no?
It's not my job to overthrow the government.
I know what I'm saying. I gave you the job. I said you're CIA director.
I don't have the power
You got ties in Syria.
my own Israel's. I don't have power to overthrow any governments.
I know, like, listen, you just said you have an opinion. You're voicing your political power right now as an American to prevent the sale of weapons to be used in an illegal genocide.
And prevent my nephew's nieces from being kidnapped and left in captivity.
What?
And I also believe in general in the idea of a Jewish refuge, a state that's sustainable that doesn't result in bloodbath every couple years. That's what I believe. That's my deeply held belief.
That's wonderful. The CIA says that stuff all the time before they kill somebody.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about anymore. I'm not overthrowing any governments.
That's what I gave you. I gave the CIA
I
powers.
said we need a new model that's sustainable.
Remember, like, Iraq, Saddam Hussein?
you love Israel and you love its people, you should also advocate for that.
Just to be clear, the model you're advocating, which is more sustainable, involves the dismantling of the current functional model.
I don't think it's functional. October 7th is not functional. It's not okay.
Okay, October 7th was not functional, sure, but like you're saying, the management of the war.
No, it's been escalatory violence for 70 years. It's not working, dude. It's not working.
The entire state has failed.
We need a new state which doesn't have to be completely new.
What guarantees your new state won't also fall into 70 years of war? How will your state solve it?
Just one question. What's the metric for you saying that they failed or success? Like, what is the metric that you're using?
Whether she's happy or not.
No,
Look at that.
my family lives in the South, okay? My family experiences tyrants constantly. That's not sustainable.
Buttercup doesn't feel comfortable.
It's not sustainable for my sister and her kids and their bunny rabbit to constantly be under threat of violence.
Buttercup. So, so the United States is also not sustainable, right? People are under threat of gun violence.
Yeah, that's not sustainable either. We need to redo our laws, 100%.
Which country is sustainable in your eyes? And then the one that you just don't know anything about?
Well, I think both of Israel and America had democracies that turned out to be way more fragile than we thought.
Which is sustainable?
Not democracy.
Democracy.
Okay, so in Scandinavia we have some good models, but I'm not going to list all the good countries versus the bad countries. Unfortunately, in today's era, a lot of democracies have been hijacked.
I understand. So Scandinavia is the model, right?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to dissect different government forms. There's pros and cons to each one.
I understand what forces are working on Scandinavia.
Well, Daniel,
Let's talk about America versus Israel. America has a constitution.
with the German model or the British.
Scandinavia, for example, you were talking about the government of Scandinavia. Okay. At least the government. What other forces impact
That's not one
Scandinavia?
country, though. There's different countries within it.
Yeah, but the government. Okay, so
You want to pick a
whatever country you want.
democracy to dissect Buttercup?
Yeah. Choose a democracy that you want to compare us with.
Very well.
Actually, I want to. I'm sorry. I want to walk that back. I want to compare to America because America's a little bit more robust as a democracy than Israel is. So we're in the whole country.
But you also said America is not sustainable.
It's sliding into an unsustainable thing because we have someone who's
Oh, yeah.
So I think the U.S. so far is holding up the democracy because there are certain protections. Our courts shut down undemocratic things.
I would say it's not sustainable.
Your courts are being weakened. Our courts still are standing up. We did do it. I take that back. America has courts that are strong enough to resist
Dying there on the streets, people are being shot just for speaking. I would be afraid to just walk in some areas in the United States. Like I see those videos of like people like jogging the streets.
Right.
I see the crimes, the gangs, the
Okay, so exactly like America without the gun
You
protection.
gotta rewrite the Constitution.
Something like powerful about you. Okay. So Second Amendment, you know, it has its price, and you have things that doesn't happen nowhere in the world, and it's not sustainable. You send your kid, you go to like fucking a rally, and you speak in front of thousands in a university, and you get shot. Like it's insane. People are getting just like shot in the like where they like.
All because of a stupid constitution we won't get rid of.
Yes, exactly. And it's your government, the corrupt governments that are just benefiting off this.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And military and army and guns and manufacturing and a lot of money, and so let's stop not talk shit about America.
Appeal to
You're right. You're right. Actually, I want to concede a point. Let me concede a point.
Amazing. So where are we comparing us to?
So I think you're right. That this era has taught us a lot about how fragile democracy and how it doesn't really hold. We can't stand up to fascists and dictators. But you know what? We're learning from it, and it doesn't mean we shouldn't be in the streets demanding that the people's interests are represented above these like selfish, fascistic.
The system is not the democracy.
It's not only that, but we need to still fight. We need to use whatever things we have. Which
Yes, but
voting for
it's
it.
like crying, like wah. It's not really helpful. It's actually making things
That's what democracy is.
Listen, in her opinion,
No,
America's
free speech is key to that, Daniel. It's all we have.
functional
Alright, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, protesting is all we have. It's all we have.
Yes, it's bitching. Do you have a solution? Do you have a better proposal? Do you have like something that I ask you for a country, what you say? The model, give me a model, like an example model that we will see that, okay, it works there. You say that this is fair, this is not sustainable. I want to see according to you, because if you're saying that Israel is not sustainable, but also everybody else, okay, that is like, it's like, this is what we told you about, like showing like half the truth. It's like showing something about Israel and painting something that's not.
Let me respond. So Daniel, to me, Israeli, I think democracy is precious and it's something that we need to cherish and try to fight for. And in Israel and in the US, which I know most about, I'm not claiming to be a geopolitical world expert. I've written extensively about US policy, so I know about our system. I know about Israel's system because I was born into a Jewish family that's obsessed with Israel, so I know a little bit about there, but not as much as you, Daniel. And I feel it's a real tragedy that these systems that have been built to protect everyone, to be democratic, to preserve human rights have been completely eroded in the last couple of years. And I'm sad that these strong men have taken over and are thwarting the will of the public and the people. I think we need to use whatever institutions we have that are designed to hold power accountable and represent the people. And so that's why I see actually a parallel in the struggles in the US and Israel, because my two countries that I identify with most and I know most about are falling apart. And for years and years and years, they protected minorities. They tried to at least aspire towards equal rights and certain values. And to see that eroding is just really heartbreaking.
So your problem with those democracies is that you didn't win the elections. Your side didn't win the elections.
No, these are corrupted. That's not true. I criticize Democrats all the time. I criticize Democrats too.
Everybody's corrupt.
No, I know in Israel you don't have the corruption laws, but in America we do have very strict.
What do you mean we don't have corruption?
I just think it's horrible for politicians to be corrupt.
What is Israel? What is Bibi now accused of?
But you guys think it's a joke.
No. You said like 5 seconds ago, you guys don't have corruption laws.
You're claiming everyone's corrupt. Not in America. We don't believe in corrupt politicians. We prosecute them. We try to hold them to account. We don't give conflict of interest laws.
You are very intense and serious on the conversation. No, words matter, and I keep pointing it out to you.
I'm sorry. I'm reflecting what you said, which is who gives a shit.
No, you said in Israel
You said who gives a shit. Listen, I understand you have laws that you guys think it's a joke, but you think it's a joke, Daniel, right? You don't care about it.
I will not let you go because I understand that you.
Yes, I know you have trials. I know there's anti-corruption laws, but you're undermining your own checks and balances.
I will put the mirror in your face. You said in Israel you don't have corruption laws, but in the United States you do.
No, I know you have laws. You're right. You're right. You do have corruption laws, but you, Daniel, don't give a shit about them.
The corruption laws and their persecution is not.
And your government is fighting to dismantle them.
Hold on, you might be surprised, okay? But it doesn't really work whether Daniel agrees or not, and you actually don't know what I agree with or not. Okay? I actually do think that corruption laws are very important, and I think that it's not about the law, it's about the investigation, first of all, okay? And what they're trying or not, the fact is that he is now on trial for corruption. That is the reality on the ground. While you say, and you come on stage here and say, Daniel, times a week
I agree.
to trial on corruption. Boo-hoo what? I'm talking about you, Baraka. The discussion that I'm having is about you. It's about the way that you present facts. I'm not sure if it's
I agree with you. I can see it. There are laws, but you dismiss that. You say every culture is corrupt, and I disagree with that. I think that's not to be that way.
No, I didn't say any bullshit. They're all corrupt, okay? Meaning like both Republicans and Democrats. I didn't say that everybody's corrupted. Power does corrupt, okay? Politics is a lot
Which is
about.
why you need free press, free speech.
Yes, and we do have free press and free speech.
Right? So why are you all day the press again and you're calling me a capo?
I tell you what, first of all, I take back the capo.
Thank you. You don't agree.
Less about you, more about I think that the word is, as I tell you, words have meaning, and and this is like 80% of why, but also I know that offended you, maybe, so I take it back. No, I'm saying it's a problem in general, and sometimes like it's also about how much you fund like those units of the police.
Look at Qatargate. You think that kind of person should be running a war involves Qatar as one of the negotiating parties that we just bombed? Like, how does that serve Israeli people to have like this massive bribery scandal in the prime minister's office while you're prosecuting a war against Hamas that involves negotiators from Qatar? How does that benefit Israel?
I think it actually shows the democracy in Israel, how this is something that is exposed by the media, is constantly on discourse, is constantly addressed. Those people work
arrested. We do like the media now. Now the media is good.
There's a lot of pressure on, like, or not really pressure, like a lot of criticism about Netanyahu regarding this. Even if he didn't have time, like his reaction should have been this or that. So this is, I think, a healthy democracy. Not saying like hide the commander or we don't investigate. This is actually one of the many talking points that people have against us is because we are transparent, because we investigate, because we are like prosecuting, because we talk about it, because we expose things. You know, from B'Tselem to the Shorin Shtika you know, you even came here and was using there was a Supreme Court decision to give the Nukhba terrorists in jails more food, trying to present this as bad instead of like, wow, like even if like Ben-Gvir is trying to do something, there is law. And at the end, even the Nukhba terrorists, those people, I don't know if you know what the Nukhba terrorist is, look it up. It's not
I do, I understand, but a lot of them are innocent. You know, they released 30% of them. They're innocent.
Hold on. Innocent.
And a lot of them are kids. They're kids who are stuck in the jail.
If they were arrested in Israel, innocent they are not, okay? And I'm talking about the Nukhba terrorists. None, zero, circle, Jews, whatever. None of the Nukhba terrorists is innocent. None, zero, okay? Minus one. They even cost, I don't know if we find another one. Like zero, okay? Those Nukhba terrorists, which are not the Nazi, really worse than Nazi because they were like so barbaric, okay? So inhumane. Those Nukhba terrorists still had someone, and I can look it up who was, that filed a lawsuit or like I don't know if it's called a lawsuit, whatever, to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided that those people will get, I don't know, whatever the decision was, that they need to get a bit more food. Okay, this is the system. This the one that you're trying to present as corrupt system.
Is everyone in State Timon, are they all Nukhba? Do you think they're all Nukhba?
The what?
Everyone who was at State Timon before it was dismantled by your government, by your courts. Do you think they were all Nukhba?
I'm talking about, this is specifically about the Nukhba terrorists. Okay?
Is there a special unit for the Nukhba that are confirmed?
The people that were arrested, you know,
I understand. I'm saying is there a special section for them because everyone's treated the same in that State Timon. They're all smart.
The people that from State Timon are people that, as far as I remember, came from Gaza. That were arrested in Gaza.
Right.
And they were brought in to this makeshift whatever jail.
Right. And were they treated well there?
I don't think so.
There was like a 98-year-old woman
those people were taken not just randomly.
Disabled single mom for 2 months.
Can I please speak? Okay. They were taken in a war zone. Usually after evacuation in places that they shouldn't have been. We don't know the circumstances. Again, war. They are taken because this is Hamas is also like using disabled children. They're using like women. They're using
These are
old people.
convenient
Yes.
expressions. Yeah.
So they are taking them. It is war, and then they're interrogated or they're checked, released. We apologize for the inconvenience, but again, you are just trying to really. You're trying. The IDF will fight the war while being able to absolutely do nothing. We cannot go into houses because you don't want to evacuate the population. We cannot basically do anything because as long as if Hamas will not wear his full uniform and will present his gun, what can you tell us how are we supposed to conduct the war? Which it will be like pleasant and nice because unfortunately wars are not pleasant or nice, especially when they are like in an urban city. They're not nice. And as much as if you need to understand that in wars there's like usually like bad option and worse option. And when you present what was chosen and show it was a bad choice, maybe. But the other option was worse. And there is no good
100%.
choice.
Actually, Daniel, this is why I always tell my friends my family who are Zionists, why we shouldn't describe an army as moral. Because armies and governments are inherently not moral. They're pragmatic. They always have to choose between an immoral option or a less moral option, right? So why even frame it in terms of morality? And that brings us back to the first point, which is the most moral army in the world. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So maybe you stop saying that.
No, I don't. Why would I stop saying it? You can prove me wrong, and then we can have a discussion about it.
You should never be operating on moral standards. You should never or utilitarian standards. That's not moral.
No. I disagree with you. Maybe for you. For us, it's about also learning from history and about different battles also, like historical battles, but definitely about morals and about law and what about legal. So there are few levels of protection. It's not just what the government decides. There's morality, how we are taught to treat the weapon, how we're taught to treat people, how to see them, to understand what is a threat, an active threat. You remember the story about what's his face, Eloah Zoya, remember? Eloah Zoya, there was a terrorist in Jerusalem, and I think he tried to stab a soldier, and he was shot, but he wasn't killed. He was laying on the floor, and then they kind of surrounded the area, many soldiers. He was still laying on the floor, calling all people to see if he has bomb money, but it was under control, as we say, he was just like on the floor. And then, 11 minutes later, this soldier shot him. And he said, he moved, I thought he would operate whatever. And he was basically taken to trial because at that point he was not, yes, he was a terrorist, yes, he tried to kill someone, but he was not posing a threat anymore at that point. And this is why the boy went to trial and then he went went to jail. Yes, there were people that were crying about why you prosecute. Yeah, it's good. There were voices saying that it's a good thing.
I remember that incident. I've seen that.
And there were a lot of voices.
And I've seen this trial also.
So let me just land, okay? I understand that I spoke too much. I will let them guys speak. So yes, I didn't notice that you came. I thought I was talking only to Baraka. So morality has a lot to do with it. And then there's law. Like the army has a legal system and also the country has a legal system. And then they go to the government. It's not just like one player. Now, shut up.
Let's say, something I think. Daniel.
Mr. Mayfield.
Okay, let's keep it simple. So I want to point to the chat where I posted a link.
They're just getting acquainted.
I posted a link for, Daniel talked about morality. I want to talk to the council for the IDF. The goal is to keep their own soldiers out of prison and out of the international courts for doing war crimes, right? And so the council says this Gaza City operation is not feasible and there's serious questions of humanitarian. And it's like the first time, perhaps ever, that the army has gone against the advice of their own council, which is designed to protect them from war crime charges, right? I'm talking about the rules from around the world. How's that get? Where's that getting? Okay, you don't even follow advice for what's ethical and moral of your own. The IDF doesn't follow the advice of its own council, ethical council, and legal council. Anyway, Wednesday, do you want to say something about the Buddha Convention?
Falling stock price.
Is that what it is?
We've also lost
Generally, your thoughts on the fact that Israel is defying the advice of its own legal counsel?
Let's just call it a press release.
I think
Today, we say that
I spoke with the idea of why I think in general.
some people buy quantum combining.
Judaism,
You're just a browser.
we scientists and
Me and the opportunities to join like this. While soar ominously wings.
let's preserve it. You don't know this case. Investigate together.
We share the
Regardless of how the people and the outside army reject the idea says it's a basis of 12 certain acts according to the law. Regardless of the idea says.
Let me tell you the original report. It was hard. Our exit and expose were she, the council spoke directly to them, and other people confirmed the meeting and the discussions, and she was excluded from the final decision making, which never happened before. I'm going to post on our article even though you think that they have a bias, because that's the report that cited me, okay? And it's inclusive, that included from this woman who is the official counsel for the IDF, that they decided to go ignore her meeting. She confirms it. She expressed her opinions multiple times, and the IDF excluded her from the final decision-making meeting, which is unprecedented, and decided to go ahead with this operation that she said is not possible because there's no hospital beds left in where they're being transferred to, and it's going to create a humanitarian catastrophe and shield soldiers from charges of war crimes. And so she gave them advice, and they went ahead and excluded her from it, and she, even after they did that, she wrote another letter saying, this is my professional opinion, and it's not changed. And they did it anyway. And so now they're pretty much intentionally defying their own legal counsel, which is designed to protect them and your nephews that are in the army right now. Not to get personal.
You alright? Before I leave.
Wow.
What would you pick?
I know, it's hard.
600. But you would take
They'll get personal. More people.
75. That's a very good deal.
So I just want to say something.
Actually, I lied. I'm gonna take it for this guy. Solitary and secretive. But he's actually one of the world's smallest wildcats and a formidable hunter. He's got the longest and densest fur of any cat on Earth. It insulates him against the freezing temperatures and makes him look bigger than he is.
She alerted
For now, keeping warm is not his priority. He's on the hunt.
the army will present nonsense about
The targets are these guys. Hikers.
house and many of the people in something with the top.
His expertise is the stock.
Presentation of in the army they presented the partial description of the
Twitching with excitement.
Israel. She said, no. Israel is doing bad things and things like that. So she wanted to get into one of the premier institutions in India.
But he's action.
So the condition was if she couldn't get into that premier institution, she would
This
go
is
to
the cheapest
Israel.
gold in the real gold.
She
And
went
acts
to
the same
Israel.
way. They pile it on so heavy that it covers the whole thing, making sure it won't stick to a magnet. After that, they buff it down till it's smooth and give it a good wash with soap and water. Boom, ready to sell and wear. If someone wants to cash in, they just melt it down, dunk it in water, and it hardens into one solid chunk, ready to be reworked. It's seriously cheap, but looks just like the real deal.
Palestinians can walk there. She saw things with her own eyes. Then her perspective changed. Then she performed earlier. She went back to Israel and I think she's staying there right now. So these people who are, living in different countries but have different perspective. It is shaped by their societies. Like Buttercup here thinks that, I think she's from America. She thinks in an American way. Freedom and all things. But she doesn't apply that to the other side. I have not seen a Muslim group that condemns Hamas or like they do Israel.
There's no narration.
Or whether they condemn Qatar or other Middle Eastern countries where they repress people or freedoms are restricted or they support terrorists. No condemnation at all. Despite Qatar hosting so much of terrorist organizations, the Hamas and this, the Taliban. Did anyone condemn Qatar? Nobody's condemning. So this is a double standard.
No, they're playing, and also Israel playing like Qatar is like a legitimate country, and Qatar also wants to be seen as like a legitimate country. They try to, which is a bit weird. On the one hand, they try to distance themselves from all the terrorists.
Puppet masters.
But they are funding terrorism. They are like doing Qatar and Jazeera, sorry. And they are hosting Hamas leaders on their soil. And they're gonna, because the money talks,
Exactly.
I don't get, by the way, this plane thing. Like,
they are a small country. They have got enough resources. They have got enough money. They are trying to play both sides. Actually, they are trying to export the Wahhabism which Saudi Arabia they want to do.
Giving the plane is not like just a gift between like I don't know, friends or even countries. It's something very public, very visible. Everybody seeing that Qatar is gifting to the United States. I'm trying to kind of make sense of it. What is the message?
Message is, even if they do small things, which is insignificant for us, like what we do in private or what we do very discreetly, they're trying